Answer them to the best of our ability, which sometimes may not be all that great, but we'll give it the college try. You want to say anything before we begin the Q&A?
No, I'm ready to go.
Tell the kids you love them.
I do love you.
See?
All of you.
See? It's all about the love. So, wow. Yeah, we can probably get going with the Q&A at your leisure.
Yeah, let's line up.
Go, go, go.
Yo, I have a question about kind of quests and lore. Do you guys ever plan to do something again on the scale of AQ and the gates of that? Cross-faction, that whole, I guess, it was just a very different kind of quest and lore that scaled just beyond your quest.
Like the whole build-up event?
Oh yeah, I got to see the AQ gates open on my server, and that was really cool, and there's just never been anything else like it.
Yeah, I implemented that event, and you can tell because of the math behind all the crap you had to collect. That's designer math. Yeah, it's one of those things that you, in your mind, in the past, it's really nice and fun. We definitely want to do more one-time events, but probably more of them, more like what you see with world events currently in holidays. But on smaller scales, like we may at some point in the future, I don't want to say never, do that crazy AQ moment, but for now, smaller, cooler moments.
Well put.
Hi. So I'm sure a lot of people have this question for you guys all the time, but when are we going to see another caster legendary weapon that's not a mace?
Yeah.
What do you want?
Write this down.
Something I could use, maybe. I'm a mage, so I got like a little knife and a big stick.
So here's the question.
Okay.
What would make you happy?
An answer that's not never.
No. Seriously, what would make you happy? What do you see?
Not a win.
A stick! The big stick, how about that?
A big stick, all right.
Craig Street, you out here somewhere? Someone take notes? Staff, you got it. It's coming.
So, we're almost 2 expansions past Outland now. I was wondering if we're ever going to hear what happened to High General Terrellian, because that guy was just the man.
You want to take this or you want to take it?
We have every intention of dealing with that character in an epic and impossibly bold way, but we're still chewing on that one. But certainly we want to leverage him in a super mega way. No plan yet.
You're gonna love it though.
Damn right.
Is there going to be anything in Cataclysm involving the Caverns of Time or furthering the Infinite Dragonflight's plans?
Alex?
Don't say it. You can count on it. Yeah. Something.
And it's so badass.
Oh, it is. It's pretty ridiculous in a good way.
I'm a big fan of the Sourfangs, but I've never been able to find out what clan they were from. I was also wondering if Thura was ever going to be in-game.
Which one?
That's what I heard.
Which?
BlackRock.
Oh, BlackRock is what Chris says. Could be BlackRock.
Sure?
80%,
Oh, it's BlackRock.
not 100%.
As of 3 seconds ago, it's BlackRock.
That's why he's the boss.
I have a question about the original philosophy behind the Burning Legion. Originally, Sargeras was the trash man for the Pantheon, and he'd see them create all these races, and then they become corrupted, and he'd have to go take them out. And then he came up to the philosophy that all life is evil. but then he disappears from the picture, and the Burning Legion's purpose seems to have shifted subtly. Is the original philosophy behind the Burning Legion that all life must be exterminated, or has Kil'jaeden shaped the Legion into his own engine of conquest?
You think you got me, huh? No, no, no. The philosophy has not shifted. I was trying to figure out where you were going with Sargeras disappearing. No, it's one-to-one. The Legion, ultimately Sargeras, in dealing with all this evil stuff, comes to the conclusion that life is innately bad and must be scrubbed out. So, as far as I can tell you, that's still pretty much the Legion's prime directive. Hasn't shifted at all.
But is it Kil'jaeden's personal philosophy, or has he changed the things for himself?
I think it is his philosophy. No, it's a really good question. I think it is his philosophy, but at the end of the day, you know, we pretty much just smashed his head back down the toilet bowl, you know what I mean, at the Sunwell. Get out of here. So he's going to be dealing with totally different emotions at this point, right? Like he wanted to eradicate all life before, and it wasn't real personal. Now it's personal. We will likely see him again.
Hi. Yeah, after the Battle of Anderhall, when our favorite Death Knight gets chain hooked back to Undercity for re-education, I was wondering if there's going to be any kind of revisitation on that, or if that's going to have any further consequences down the line in Cataclysm.
So the Forsaken storyline is a complex one. I think you guys have seen a lot of changes happen in Cataclysm, as in the Forsaken have a more cohesive, coherent storyline and identity. What you saw happen to Kultira, will we come back to it? Yeah, probably. I mean, we want to use Kultira, we want to use the Sarian, and so absolutely, we'll see that somewhere.
Hey, so for the Clism, you haven't touched any updates on Kulturas in ages, and I mean, there's a lot of water themes, the world is messed up, you raided all the continents, but no Kulturas? What up?
Well, we gotta save something, right? There's some things out there that you'll see eventually, but that time isn't now.
Man, if you eat all your candy Halloween night, you're gonna get a tummy ache.
Yeah.
Slow. But we will deal with Kultiras in the looming future.
With Stromguard, so if there are any of those questions, have a seat. No, I'm kidding.
Hi. So for the story contest, I wrote a story, essentially my theory of what might have happened to Kael'thas between the Frozen Throne and the Burning Crusade. And I was just kind of curious, what's your take on it? How did he go from, you know, a well-intentioned leader to a pawn of the Burning Legion?
Computing. It was Mickey's novella. Dealt with a lot. We actually, I don't want to spoil it, but actually a number of years ago, one of our lead writers in the creative development department, a guy named Mickey Nielsen, actually wrote like a novella, like an 80-page kind of novella about exactly that, and it's bitchin'. And we've been struggling to figure out like where to publish it, where to put it out. And I would like to put that out at some point because it answers much of that and it's really good. So I don't want to spoil it for you, but we'll commit to putting that out.
I noticed they were asking about the legendary caster weapons earlier. I was wondering if you had any plans to add Medivh's staff back into the game for those who couldn't run 40-man Nax.
No. Sorry.
Snap.
It's been there and done. That's right, I'm a bad guy. That's right.
Thank you. So we were looking forward to a Windrunner family reunion between Sylvanas and Verisa, and maybe Ilaria, and didn't really happen throughout the course of Wrath. So any plans for that anytime soon-ish, maybe?
We'll have that wrapped up along with the Turalian storyline.
Yeah.
Is that the case, sir?
In Stromgarde.
With Atiesh.
There you go.
Hello, I am a proud orc shaman, Loktar God. Loktar! I asked you, good sir, last year if shamans were going to have their hub like paladins and mages have had in Wrath, and you said yes. Is it going to be the Earthen Ring, and are they going to be as much of a driving force in the end game as what was it, I forget, thank you.
Argent Crusade.
The Crusade, yeah. The Argent Crusade was going up against the Lich King.
Alex?
You played Cataclysm yet?
I have sadly not been in the beta.
Oh yeah. They're in there. Lots of them.
For reals.
Yeah.
So are we going to be seeing them as a faction of their own?
Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
Hey there. I was just wondering what drove Sargeras mad. He was with the Titans originally, creating life, creating worlds, but all of a sudden now he's the leader of the Burning Legion. I believe originally you blamed that on the Eridar, but then that was retconned, but to what?
Your hat. Yeah. Huh? Got it.
That's it. I think we've been over this. This feels like a damn setup, son. Damn it. So yeah, I mean, we've explained before. You know, we had the whole kind of sequence of Sargeras going out, fighting the bad guys, kind of slowly but surely over time, being kind of corrupted by just the dirt and filth of all these nasty races. Now, let me think about this. I think in the War 3 manual, I suggested that he had met a particularly bad race that put him over the top. It might have been the Eridar at the time. And then when we were developing the Burning Crusade and I wanted to make the Draenei a new heroic race, it was necessary to kind of, you know, revamp that idea and have him having corrupted them. And that went over like a fart in church, apparently. But you know what? I still stand by the idea, blah, blah, blah. Like the newer idea just serves the Draenei race much, much better. And if that's what you're asking about, was that what you were asking about particularly?
Well, yeah, just what drove him mad, but you've not seemingly decided.
Who says he's mad?
Say what?
Who says he's mad?
Is he mad?
I don't know.
Maybe he's just misunderstood. Ill-tempered?
Yeah,
you know?
There you go.
All right. Thanks for your question, man.
Hey, good afternoon. I was wondering if there's going to be any lore about the troll moonkins at all, due to the fact that they've never done anything with the moon, or is this some kind of plot to just get rid of moonkins in general?
I hope so.
Ouch.
Honestly. No. Love Moonkin. Yeah. We are actually developing, or have developed much of the troll druid lore in-house. And I don't know if we're releasing all of that with Cataclysm. We're kind of building up to it. So you'll get something.
Get some.
How you doing?
What's happening?
I was wondering for anyone else that had legendary items or in the process of creating the legendary items like the Valnir Hammer and Shadowmourne, if you guys have the intention of doing a quest line or a series of quests in order to get a upgraded version for level 85. Some of it will be useless, like TF for tanking, or people that had Grand Staff of Atesh for healing or DPS, or Right-Handed Ragnaros for a DPS weapon for a two-handed melee. It'd be a substantially nice idea to have those legendary items that were useful back in the day brought back to life for use in 85.
Yeah, I mean, much like the Atiyesh question, it's not planned. We don't plan on doing that. We want to introduce new legendaries and new cool things for you guys to get. We feel that when those legendaries come out, they're exceptional items with exceptional lore and story behind them. And they get used. They get their use. We don't necessarily want items to last forever. You know, a big part of playing the game is getting new items. So I don't want to say never. So you may actually see Atiyesh come back one day. Who knows? But for now, we don't have any plans to do that.
Hi. I have a question concerning phasing technology with questing. And is there any thought or plans of using phasing technology to sort of reinvigorate existing zones instead of always looking forward to adding new content, in the sense of having level 85 quests that would require you to go back to the Northern Barrens, and the mobs and the enemies you'd encounter there through phasing would be level 85, so you'd be able to quest at that level, but it wouldn't interfere with the lower level characters in the area, and basically make it so our existing zones aren't one-stop shopping and more of a persistent world.
Heroic Barons is one of the first projects we've been working on.
I mean, so in Cataclysm, all these zones got revamped. Pretty much everything on Kalimdor and the Eastern Kingdoms, and many of those zones use or incorporate heavy phasing. Now, if you're asking, is the plan to ever allow players to go back at max level into a phased version of Northern Barrens? Not necessarily, although for the next patch, we have been setting you guys up in Highjaw and Cataclysm to come back to a healed Highjaw, which will be a level 85, like open questing, public questy type environment. I don't want to say we never do that, because we did discuss it for something like a Westfall, if you follow the Van Cleef quest line, the news story. But there's a whole lot of issues at play here, and it's not the most production friendly, for one. But there's definitely some cool ideas there, and it's a cool idea to do. So we might one day.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
The first time we ever met Garrosh Hellscream, he was kind of a whiny little kid. Now he's in charge of the Horde. We saw in Northrend that he really become a warlord. Are we going to get a war chief out of this guy, or just another angry Hellscream?
Well, that would be telling, you know? It's the whole thing. Is this guy his daddy's son, or can he straighten out and be an epic war chief? That's a theme that we are putting a lot of muscle behind. Actually, I'm surprised that we didn't get massive boos as you asked that question, right? I appreciate how contentious the Garrosh issue is. What? I'm sensing tension.
Get in line.
But you got to understand, here's the thing. It's part of a far larger storyline when you start talking about guys like Thrall, and damn it, I like talking about guys like Thrall. I'll tell you for nothing, Thrall is the most important person on Azeroth. Because he's green and he's sexy. For no other reason. But Thrall is, I mean, he's a pivotal character in this franchise. And when you start, and honestly, guys, like since the shipping game, we ain't done all that much with him, right? There was that cool bit in Nagron, good job, dude, where he meets Grandma and, you know, kind of has that whole kind of reveal of his true name and all that stuff. And you know what, other than that, we haven't really used this guy to his potential. And he's got huge potential. So the whole Garrosh thing, you got to understand it's done in tandem or almost reflexively to what we're doing with Thrall. How can I put this? Any of you guys read The Shattering yet? A few of y'all. The whole idea with Thrall is that can you argue that this guy who's he's so Clark Kent, right? He's so straight up. He does a good job all the time. He doesn't swear, right? He doesn't beat anybody down. Like he's a good leader. He's a noble soul, right? And he spent all of these years building and running the Horde selflessly. And the idea is, does he really know who he is? Or after all these years, is it just more of a Bruce Wayne thing where he's a little baby when his parents are murdered? He never really grew up with a whole lot of nurturing. And at this phase of his life, after all the things he's accomplished, it's possible that he's actually a little hollow inside, right? He's never taken time to just grow. So there's a lot of story we're going to start pushing relative to Thrall, and we needed to construct a character. Well, Alex had already constructed Garrosh for Outland, and then geniusly kind of utilized him to be kind of a counterpoint to Thrall. So what you sense out of this guy just being generally a meathead and hyper-violent and a hothead and all that stuff, the intention is to kind of counter that against the Thrall we know. And if we're going to put Thrall through the steps, we have to have like a foil, if you will. So trust me when I say it's all going to play out. There's really good stuff coming. Try not to get fixated on Garrosh, right? He plays a pivotal role, and I think he's a really interesting character by himself. If many of you have been playing the Cataclysm beta, you'll begin to see there's other shades of this guy. He's not as one-dimensional as he seems. Because when everybody gets moving on the websites and everybody's on message boards going, this guy's a one-note wonder, right? On message boards, if we're not talking about it a lot, everyone just assumes that must be true, but it is not. So there's really good stuff. I'm so over-answering this question. So be patient. This is going to play out, I don't know. I think it's going to be some of the most spectacular story work we've done in WoW, ever. And it's going to count, and it's going to have soul. So for all the darkness, Horde, don't lose hope. What I would tell you is, if you love the Horde today, how much more will you love it when you need to fight for it, right? You're going to dig it.
Hi there.
Hello.
Hi. I play on a roleplay server, and I notice most of the time, rather than roleplaying, where people wind up arguing about really obscure things. Right. How do you feel an average guard, Horde, or Alliance would react to a hero that has their demon out in public?
Like warlocks rolling through downtown Stormwind?
Yeah.
Right. Well, at a certain level, there's so many components of this game that everyone loves as gameplay components, but they totally break the world. Come on. If we were really in Azeroth and it's just a normal Wednesday, by the cheese shop down there, there's no way on earth everyone's standing, oh, a Voidwalker. Isn't that cute? Wow. Honey, is that bluer than I saw yesterday? I mean, that's really amazing. Hell no. You're ringing the bell, you're charging in, come on. These demons, almost blew up the world twice. 2.5 times, to my count. So it's just one of those things you kind of have to suck up as a necessary gameplay convention, but there's 100 of those, things that I wish did not exist, but do to facilitate the gameplay.
Hey there, guys.
What's up?
Hey, I was wondering if you know who Mudcrush Dirtfeet is?
Yeah.
I was wondering if his story is going to be developed in Cataclysm, because I found him to be a very three-dimensional character.
Do you really?
Yeah, I actually have the description of the quest right here. He sends you out to go get 8 Murloc heads. He says, "Me big ogre, me hungry, go bash fishy, bring mud food, you feed mud or mud eat you." I was wondering if you're going to, develop him a little bit in Cataclysm.
Yeah. Absolutely. Get him for you.
That's great.
Big black dragon, me stomp.
Wait, inspiration for Deathwing right there.
Right on.
Hello. I just finished reading The Shattering yesterday.
Good man.
And I noticed something. it said that Falstad Wildhammer was going to be on the Council of Three Hammers, but in the beta it's Kurdrin Wildhammer, and Falstad is not in the game at all. What happened to him?
Isn't Falstad dead? From Day of the Dragon? No?
No, he survived, and in fact, he was the leader of Airy Peak and Vanilla WoW through Wrath of the Lich King.
Right, of course. Right. Yeah, Alex, what's up with that?
Thanks for pointing that out. We're gonna get that fixed.
Thank you.
Bet.
We win.
This is intimidating. I've got a question about Outlands and the lore behind it. It kind of doesn't make sense right now with Cataclysm coming. We're just going to break off at like 55, 58, jump through the Dark Portal, see Illidan, say hi, go to Northrend. How is that going to work?
Poorly. You know, it's a big game. Cataclysm is the largest expansion we've done to date, and we've affected a lot of the world, and we absolutely will go back and affect Outland to make it more cohesive, to make it make sense. Might not be making ship. So yes, in that regard, it's more of a gameplay implement. You go through, and you kind of go forward in time, and then backwards in time, and then, yeah.
Okay, so this is a great topic. And damn you for bringing it up.
Yeah.
But it's got to be said. Exactly what Alex said is, you know what? The fact is, Outland and Lich King are going to be a little broken for a while. Yeah. It's something we thought a lot about when we were planning Cataclysm. And the simple fact is, at a production level, you really can only account for so much. I mean, these guys have been breaking their backs on questing out, you know, the classic world, you know, Kalimdor and the Eastern Kingdoms. We have every intention of not letting this world we care a lot about be broken for years and years, but we're still trying to figure out how we're going to. It's like, do you guys want another really thrilling expansion, or do you want us to fix Outland? Because in terms of like quest design, it's kind of the same amount of work, you know, and we're trying to bang these expansion sets out, you know, before you all have, you know, grandchildren and stuff. I guess you could play with your grandkids though, which is nice. Let me ask you this. So 1,000 to 3,000,
Yeah, it's more like 3,500.
Can I say that?
Yeah.
So I wanted to get Alex's approval. In Wrath of the Lich King, these guys built about 1,000 quests. It's a lot of work. And you can feel it in that game. You know, good Lord, that expansion set was badass, in my humble opinion. For Cataclysm, and consider there's the 80, 85, and there's the 1 to 60, 3,500 quests. I mean, guys, it was an impossible job, and these guys, like, just dominated this thing. So keep that in mind, right? We do not want Outland and Northrend to feel broken or phased out of the flow of time and real-time events. But it is a mammoth undertaking. So we will get to it. I know it will probably be frustrating for many of you, especially the role players. Like, what in the world, Blizzard? But we are going to get to it. Please be patient with us.
Yep.
Yeah, totally.
I need you to go back 2 years to Outland.
Okay.
Hi, so I was wondering about the Council of Tirisfal, and particularly Medan, like what's going on with them, and whether you ever intend to implement them in game, like as important characters, because I think they're a pretty important sort of section of Azeroth.
Maybe Medan will bring Alaria and Turalian back.
In Stromgarde.
In Stromgarde, with Atiesh. 2 years ago. So yeah, I mean that you know, the idea of birthing a new Council of Tirisfal and like a new Guardian and all that stuff. We had that hook for many years. It was a really broad idea, like, wow, this will be a cool, earth-shattering idea. And as we started to build that out for the comic book, it took the shape that it took. But we're still kind of chewing on what is the best way to leverage that content, right? Potentially, Medan is a pretty cool character, but it just hasn't come up yet in terms of post-Cataclysm. We have certainly been discussing a number of possible directions for whatever the next expansion is, but that has not factored in yet, but I'm sure come Monday morning we will be talking about it.
Hi. Will we ever see a redemption or resurrecting of Illidan Stormrage as a character with Malfurion and that whole storyline?
Boy, do I want to do that. I think that'd be badass. I don't think anyone at all has even suggested it or talked about it. Not to my knowledge. But I love that shit. I'm a sucker for a good redemption story, so... StarCraft. Except for Arthas, though. You gotta pay, brother. You're going down.
Hi there. In Burning Crusade, Illidan didn't seem very involved in a lot of the quests directly, but in Wrath, you saw Arthas everywhere. How are you approaching Cataclysm with Deathwing?
A little in between both. I think in Wrath we may have kind of cartooned Arthas out to some degree, and we're aware of it. We know this. Him showing up at the right times was awesome and made a powerful statement, but it was excessive at times. So with Deathwing, and he's a different animal, literally, he's a dragon. So it's a little harder to have him show up and not just kill you. So we're a little more careful, though when you do see Deathwing in Cataclysm, he'll kill you. So 99% of the time.
His name ain't Social Wing.
All right, so I'm just wondering if you could give any spoilers or theories about the possible location or even a name of the next Old God for its expansion, and maybe even elaborate a little upon the theory that if all the old gods are kind of dealt with, then Azeroth will kind of be doomed. Because, I mean, we've dropped Cthulhu and Yogg-Saron, and we're not really seeing much doomsday effect besides Cataclysm, but that's really with Deathwing.
Or is it? You haven't seen who signs Deathwing's paychecks yet. Let me see if I get that. So there are two questions. One is, will we give you spoilers on the next expansion set? No. No. The second part was, I'm sorry, brother, was the suggestion that as we punk down old gods, is there some greater calamity or price to pay?
Now, I was asking if you had any theory or idea of what a name for the next old god would be, and maybe elaborate a little upon, because, I mean, a while ago you kind of suggested the theory that if the old gods were dealt with, that kind of this doomsday and Azeroth kind of ceased to be because of some catastrophic event, but so far with 2 down, we're not really seeing much calamity happening.
Have you played any Cataclysm?
You know, like where the world blows up? Because of the old gods?
Yeah, because of the old gods.
Right, so have we publicly announced the...
You might, if you're astute enough, see his name or its name uttered in a few places in Cataclysm, but it's out there.
You want to know what it is?
Oh, N'Zoth?
Yes! I was asking your permission.
Oh, I thought you were...
Get in trouble by rolling it out.
No, let's roll
The third
it.
old god is N'Zoth. And we've suggested, I think directly, that he was the critter responsible for the spark of the Emerald Nightmare. And he's got all sorts of other weird shit going on, so he's a real problem.
Well, damn, he took my question. But I got to back up. We've seen over the years a lot of the overarching evils and dangers that the heroes had to confront be taken down, and they've slowly been getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Are there plans to take out some of the more benevolent kind of, well, challenges? We've seen 2 of the dragons go down, and we've proven that they're not infallible. Would one day we take down Alexstrasza?
All right, let me answer it this way. She's the aspect of life, man. Come on, can you really punk her down for long? A careful way to answer that question is, over the course of Cataclysm, obviously Deathwing's the bad guy, you know, and in the subsequent patches, similar to how Wrath of the Lich King worked, you know, the final patch is Fall of the Lich King, you know, ultimately when we develop the final combat with Deathwing and put him down, figured there's really good money on the fact that the family is going to have to get involved, right? The aspects, it will be their, let's say, greatest and most terrible hour. They will perform the function for which they were created all those eons ago. So as far as like, you know, who's getting killed or who isn't or whatever, it's probably healthy to let that breathe at this point, but know that we love these characters. We would not arbitrarily off them at all. And again, I'm not suggesting that they're going to die at all. But figure, Deathwing is so gnarly, right? How do you defeat something that is undefeatable, right? Can he be defeated by any martial means? It's a very good question. How will the family and Thrall pull this off? Oh, I just have to say it, damn it. So you know how Thrall's a shaman? Yes, we do. So what aspect is missing from the family? Okay, guys, it's the big black dragon, Earth. Earth would be correct. Neltharion's out, right? The family's been broken for eons. Well, all right, not eons, 10,000 years, the family has been broken. And what are the 5 aspects are you missing? You are missing Earth. So I'm just saying, perhaps that's a way our boy Thrall can distinguish himself down the line in helping to bring the family back together for the big win. Just saying.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name's Althea from Big Crits, and I have a question concerning the book lore and how it pertains to Cataclysm. In the book Stormrange, some serious stuff happens, which in my personal opinion is a little bit more intense than what happens in Cataclysm. And I was wondering, is everyone just going to forget what happened to them after the Cataclysm? And what's the plans concerning that, with the nightmare taking over the world and pretty much keeping everyone in an eternal nightmare until the deed was done? I don't want to give spoilers. That's why I'm being kind of vague.
So the question would be, do we reference the events of the novel Stormrage broadly in Cataclysm? Is that the question?
Specifically broadly. Like, I personally wouldn't like if it was touched on, or I was like, oh, this happened. And I understand there's some stuff that Malfurion does to take out some of the people responsible for what happened, but like, it happened to everybody. Like, everybody was affected. I just want to know, is it going to be brought up a lot?
There are things in our literature that are harder to pull off than others. That's one of them. Especially in an expansion when you're dealing with breaking the world, things can get muddled. So it's dealt with delicately in Cataclysm, but yeah, we don't hit you over the head with it, for sure.
And it's, to some degree, to follow up to that, Do you think all these battle-hardened cats are going to sit and whine about a bad dream when there's molten magma spewing up under their feet? You know, it's kind of an issue of priorities, right?
Yeah, that's what everyone I've ever brought that up to told me. It's like, oh, the Cataclysm, you know, screw whatever happened with the Nightmare, that this shit's real.
No, I mean, it's continuity. The Nightmare totally happened, but in terms of prioritization of, you know, like rewriting all the NPC quests, like it's you know, important to err on the side of the big giant game rather than the super cool, but, you know, lesser read novel, you know. I mean lesser read relative to 12, you know, point something million and, you know, the couple 100,000 that bought that. No disparaging remark whatsoever.
Awesome. Thank you for hearing me out.
Right on, man.
Sure.
Hi, this is an honor. I'm an old school tabletop role player, as I can assume that you are as well. Thanks. There's two of them. I'm in a guild on an RP server, and we absolutely love storytelling, Roystra's Forum Dynasty. But one of our things is we were always wondering if there were tools that might be implemented into the game to sort of facilitate role-playing, like instead of having to rely on add-ons, like some sort of flag for role-playing or some sort of character description, or are you more comfortable leaving that to the community to do on its own?
Yes. So let me get this straight. You want something like a story pane for your character, essentially?
Maybe not something that, like, even going back so far as, say, EverQuest, they had, like, a little character description that would pop up when you inspected somebody.
Sure.
And I always thought that was something that maybe was missing from the interface of Warcraft that might be beneficial to a lot of people.
I mean, I wouldn't rule out the possibility. We haven't really discussed it often. So, sure, we can bring it up again. Yeah.
It's a cool hook. All right, thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, my question is, there's a lot of lore with Deathwing in the old RTS WoW games. Is there going to be any kind of connection with, like, the Demon Soul being implemented in Cataclysm or anything like that? And then in Outlands, there was kind of a hint that maybe the Nether Drakes were related to Deathwing. Is that going to be clarified at all, I guess is my question.
Yes. I can't really talk too much about it, but I think you'll see something soon.
Something awesome.
Amazing, honestly. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
Wow.
Hello. I have a goblin question. With Kazan now volcano to death, and the goblins having to integrate into Orgrimmar and all the capital cities, will they ever try to go back to the island, kind of like the trolls went to their islands and the gnomes to Nomergon? And if not, will we ever see Undermine in the game as an accessible area at all?
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I think Kazan's, so when you play through the Goblin experience, it's a small segment of the actual whole of Kazan. So yeah, we totally want to go back to the Undermine and the rest of the islands and the islands in that area. It's just a matter of when. Can't tell you. One day.
Thank you.
Hi. I know that the Paladins got a lot of attention in the last expansion, and that the Silver Hand, the joining of the Silver Hand and the Argent Crusade was a big point. But I've also seen about the Eastern Plaguelands and Western Plaguelands, how they're being rebuilt. So I wanted to know if the Paladins were still going to play a big part. Maybe there was a dungeon or something. Is there a reputation to be gained?
So you see the Argent Crusade, and what they're doing right now is cleanup, right? There's remnants of the Scourge still floating around, or undead that aren't quite being kept in check. And the Plaguelands was kind of their base of operations. They're spreading out, and with the Cenarian Circle, cleansing the land. Will there be a dungeon that revolves around that? No, not necessarily. Nothing planned right now. I think the last expansion, we did a lot with the Crusade. And so, give them a little bit of time to breathe. We'll see them again.
in Cataclysm or in Wrath of the Lich King, it seemed in in-game raiding content that you went from Ulduar, then you were fighting in a Coliseum, and then you were raiding Lich King. I was wondering in Cataclysm, is there going to be more cohesion between the end-game raiding instances?
Yes. That's a trick question, isn't it? So it's interesting, actually. So Lich King's raiding, there actually was a story there, a common thread throughout all of those. Was it pulled off as masterfully as it should have been? No, I don't think so. Yeah, and we'll continue to improve our methods by which we convey that to you guys. So yeah, I definitely think that in this coming expansion we'll have more.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, I'd like to point out I really like the way you did Shadowmourne this time around, and it'd be nice to see that in the future as a quest-based kind of raid community build-up for your legendaries. My question relates to, I play on a role-playing server, and I'm concerned about priests and the nature of the cult of Shadow. There's some exposure to it, and there's a bit on the WoW Wiki article, but I'm not sure how the races outside of the Forsaken really fall into playing that particular character archetype. I really enjoy it as a mechanic standpoint, but there seems to be a severe disconnect from a lore standpoint.
Working on it.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, my question is, what do you guys plan on doing with Caligos regarding the Blue Dragon flight?
Something amazing.
It's so fucking boring, dude. Give it.
Go!
Oh.
Take it!
You think we should?
Yeah, sure.
Really?
Yeah. Do it.
Do it. Caligos will be the new blue aspect. And just in time.
I have a question for you regarding the storyline of Nirzul. Is he finished, or what's going on with him? And what's going on with Bolvar?
Number 2, who?
Bolvar.
Bolvar.
Yeah.
Wanna take this?
Yes. Yeah, Nirzul is done. He served us well in that capacity, but really the Lich King idea really is the ultimate expression, through as Arthas or whatever. Nirzul's done. Relative to Bolvar, think about this, guys. It's kind of weird. There's where my instinct goes in terms of the storyline, and then there's kind of like, we're probably not going to build another Northrend expansion anytime soon, right? So, we're trying to push ideas in new and fresher directions. But it's kind of like one of those Outland things, right? As Cataclysm is kind of present day, how do we illustrate for you guys what's going on in Northrend, right? Like, so Bolvar's sacrifice is pretty bitchin'. And ultimately, for some length of time, he's going to be up there keeping a lid on the Scourge, with the Argent Crusade kind of playing good cop, and making sure that the undead are not, getting rowdy again. But Bolvar and the fact of him being this new kind of Lich King is definitely something, it's definitely fertile soil. But we are unlikely to chase big undead themes for the next little while. So it's kind of hard to say how that will play out.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any update about the Warcraft movie?
What, you guys didn't, it went straight to video. You guys didn't, you get the memo? It was really good. Kiefer Sutherland. I love Kiefer Sutherland. Worms, Michael. You're eating worms. How do they taste? Okay, so what's going on with the Warcraft film? I can report happily. About a month ago, we had like a 4-day session with Sam Raimi, and we kicked the shit out of this story. I mean, it's really good. So we're just kind of waiting for the big green light in the sky to pop. My understanding is that Sam's got a number of really bitchin' projects on the slate, and we're just waiting to see which one gets prioritized. But he loves the world. He plays with his kids, and the story we built is badass, and it's got hooks that are like if I was a Warcraft fan, I'd be pretty excited about some of these hooks. I mean, obviously, I can't tell you much about it at this point, but we broke through a very serious wall that we had on this project, not necessarily with Raimi, but just in terms of just vibing out with him and his team, and we showed him what we had, and it was just like a geek cyclone as we banged this story out. So with any luck, you know, hopefully very soon we'll have something to talk about, and we'll see some, you know, real progress, you know, started on this thing. It has been a long haul, but, you know, sometimes you got to move a little slower, you know, to do it right, and we are going to do it right.
I'm kind of nervous. I hear all this stuff about caster DPS, range DPS, and healer legendaries, but what about tanks? Are we going to get any love?
You know, you're preaching to the choir right here. I want one. Yeah. And then Death Knights? No? No.
Yeah. I'm a Death Knight, so I mean, something for all classes, even if it's armor, something unique, lore-wise.
So you said it, right? I mean, when we do a legendary, it covers a role for the most part. Unfortunately, the tank role is a wee bit smaller than the DPS role, maybe even a little bit smaller than the healer role. The most important role, in my opinion, though. So, not out of the question, but we got to do that staff first, so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just had a question about Thrall. Are Thrall and Jaina ever going to get together and have a family? Because
Figure Jaina's got a little green fever going on. I don't want to hugely spoil it or whatever, and I don't mean this in a marketing way at all, but you guys should read The Shattering, because it's good. And that will give you a pretty, oh hell, I just tell you, absolutely not. Thrall is going to be a nice girl from Nagron and have beautiful little brown babies, like he's supposed to. What's the Oz? He's a traditional orc. Come on.
But she's not Jaina.
They're walking down, you know, Valley of Honor, and with this little pink chick on his arm. Like, that ain't gonna fly. Come on. And here's another point. What happens to the men that Jaina dates? I'm not gonna do that to my boy Thrall. Oh no. Thrall must live. So, yeah, let's put it to bed. That's a funny choice of words. All ages. So, yeah.
We have time for one or two more questions.
How's it going, guys?
What's up?
Hey, thanks for the tank love, by the way. That's appreciated. A legendary shield would be amazing. And it'd be something different. But anyway, so I'm going to change my question because the guy in front of me already asked me. So, Ghostcrawler promised us a moose. Where in the hell is our moose? Where's our moose?
Yeah, he did.
Damn that guy.
We're gonna find him and ask him. yourself? 'Cause I have no damn idea. Yeah. Moose. I want a moose.
I want a moose.
You want some moose? Where is it? No idea.
Hey, Rocky!
Yeah.
Last question.
Make it good.
Hey,
Bring it, dog. No pressure.
I remember back in the Molten Core days when you finally got to Ragnaros and you woke him up and he just one-shot Majordomo Exodus. Is he gonna do that to some poor guy and when he comes back?
Yeah.
Yeah. You want him to do that? I do too. Yeah.
That would be amazing. Just
Yeah, dude.
some poor new bastard to die.
Totally. Like 3 guys.
Yes.
I'd go like 5.
You do 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
7. I don't know. More death.
Yes.
Fiery, glorious death. We got time for one more? Let's do one more.
One more time.
All right, now that Arthas is dead, how or will you be able to make Worgen or Goblin or any other race Death Knights in Cataclysm?
Oh, Arthas. So there is actually a story here. So when you play the Death Knight area right now, Arthas is dead. Why does that area exist? And the simple reason is that area exists in a different pocket of time. It's before anything happens. Certainly is a little bit strange that you get popped out into, wherever you do, but what we're looking at with the Worgen and Goblin is a pre-Lich King Worgen. So what is that, right? Where does that come from? Is it a minion of Argyle? Yeah, it is. So you're not necessarily the same Worgen that you play. Goblin's a little easier. I mean, there's goblins all over the place, and if he's piling up the bodies and resurrecting them or corrupting them, a lot of those around. So it's a different timeline is what that Death Knight area is.
I guess I'd also say that necromancy, the science of bringing dead things back, is not exclusive to the Lich King. It existed before Ner'zhul was ever turned into the original Lich King. So in that way, there's flex room to have lore substantiate newly created Death Knights.
Sure.
Great question.
Coming up next here on the developer stage, we're going to have the StarCraft 2 story Q&A, and on the other stage, we'll be having the World of Warcraft live raid.